bound in the westbound lane when his SUV struck an oncoming pickup on OSR near FM 46. The driver of the truck sustained non-life-threatening injuries. Bryan Police is investigating what their social media describes as the suspicious deaths of two people east of the Rellis campus. The discovery took place last night on Silver Hill Road, which is east of Highway 47 and south of Highway 21. Tomorrow afternoon's Bryan ISD School Board agenda includes meeting behind closed doors to review last Thursday's decision by the Planning and Zoning Commission to consider the district's latest attempt to rezone land to build a new transportation and maintenance complex. During last week's 60-minute public hearing, P&Z members asked why the facility housing buses and maintenance vehicles and those employees could not be built at BISD's Career and Technical Education Center on Mumford Road near Harvey Mitchell Parkway. BISD's construction manager Paul Buckner said the main reason is the condition of Mumford Road.
It is a narrow road already. There is not much room, if any, to widen it. And then you do get to 2818 right there, and it is a flashing yellow light. So it is quite a bit more dangerous for our buses to be making left turns out of that.
Buckner also said adding maintenance and transportation would prevent future expansion of the CTE facility. Higher prices to fuel power plants and at the gas pump means more energy production, which translates into more tax revenue for the state of Texas.
The state comptroller's office has just released figures for the fiscal year that ended August 31st. They show that revenue from oil production taxes went up 84% from 2021, and natural gas production tax revenue was up 185%. Stephen Pickering, TSN News.
For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Closer and go farther with Optimum Mobile, voted #1 in customer satisfaction. The more lines you add, the more you save. That means you can get unlimited data for $30 a month per line when you get 2 or more lines. Add that line for him or for her and for them, because every line adds up to more savings. And with 5G access included, you'll stay connected on the network that has 4 times more 5G coverage than Verizon. Switch to Optimum Mobile and get unlimited data, talk, and text for $30 a month per line for 2 or more lines. And the savings keep adding up with great deals on the latest 5G phones with the lowest monthly pricing. It's the perfect time to get closer to Optimum Mobile and go farther with more ways to add and save, all at the same time. Visit Optimum.com/mobile or call 800-864-0500. Autopay required. Exclusive pricing for 2+ lines of service with unlimited data option. Offer subject to discontinuance or change at any time. Other terms and conditions apply.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. 6th-ranked Texas A&M football overcame a 3-hour weather delay to dominate Sam Houston State Saturday, 31-0. Coach Jimbo Fisher.
Guys played hard. I thought the defense was outstanding in the game. I think we did a really good job up front, controlling the line of scrimmage, and with the older guys and the young guys get in and played discipline, which I was very impressed with. Secondary, those young corners and DBs, and plus our older guys, I thought they played well, kept good leverage on the football. We chased the football well.
Now, the Ags didn't give up any big plays, but they made quite a few, with quarterback Haynes King throwing for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Maroon and White are set to hold a press conference today to preview this Saturday's showdown with Appalachian State. Hear from Coach Fisher at 2 o'clock right here on The Zone. Aggie volleyball capped off a perfect weekend in Fort Worth with a 3-1 victory over TCU yesterday. Logan Lednicki had 23 kills for the Ags to improve to 4-2 on the year. Out on the soccer pitch, the A&M women finished off their Big Ten road trip with a scoreless draw against Ohio State. The Maroon and White are still undefeated and have only given up 1 goal in 5 regular season matches. And number 11 women's golf began the season with a runner-up finish at the Carmel Cup at Pebble Beach yesterday. Jenny Park led the way individually, finishing in 3rd place at 7 under. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Do you love Aggie football? The Louis Bellina Show, presented by B&B Automotive and Superior Auto Service, 2 remarkable businesses, 1 great family. We love Aggie football, too. Every Monday at 2, it's Aggie Football Media Day. Jimbo Fisher live, thanks to T-Mobile. And every Wednesday, we listen into the players. Also, thank you, T-Mobile, the official 5G provider of the SEC. Check in with the Louis Bellina Show weekdays, 11 to 2.
If I'm going to do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble! Howdy, Aggie Land. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
That's how long I've been on ya.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya.
It is Labor Day. I hope you guys are enjoying your day off as OB and I are slaving talking college football. I'm kidding about that, of course. Happy to be here with you because we've got a lot of college football to get into. Texas A&M obviously top of mind as we get into the show. Welcome into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here on the Rollo Insurance Studio. The Ags do win 31-0 over Sam Houston, and I'm just going to throw you out some positives and a couple of negatives, and then we'll turn it all over to Olin Buchanan here during the go hour. But here we go. A victory, that's a positive. A shutout, that's a positive. A quarterback who throws for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns, I think that is quite the positive there. The freshman, all over the place, playing significant moments. The turnovers were the negatives. The offensive line, certainly a negative. The rushing attack, which is, of course, attributed to the offensive line, a negative. And special teams, I wouldn't say they were negative. They were just okay. They were just there. So those are things that we're going to get into here during the Go Hour, presented by Maroon U, part of CC Creations out there. OB, we welcome you to the show. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I know you were up late last night watching some college football.
I was. And, we were talking earlier. If you're having a bad day or whatever, just be glad today that you're not Bill Polian.
Remind everybody who Bill Polian is.
Well, most of the people remember here, or is it Brian Polian? Brian, I think.
Mr. Polian, we call him.
Brian, I think it is. But anyway, he's now the LSU special teams coach. He used to be here back in 2012. After the LSU had 2 fumbled punts, a missed field goal, and a missed extra point that could have sent the game into overtime. So things could always be worse.
Things could absolutely be worse. Hey, we'd love to hear from you what you thought of the game on Saturday. When you win 31-0 and there's a lot of chirping of what went wrong, that just tells you the potential and what we all expect from this program. You see teams like Alabama and Georgia dismantle their opponents. Georgia especially was so good in that game. I think maybe that's part of the problem we have here, OB, is we wanted that kind of performance, right? That kind of dismantling, because we expect to be on that level of team.
Yeah, it's really strange because had A&M won, say, 52-17, I think everybody, hey, look how great the Aggies were. You'd feel really good about that.
Yep.
52-17 would be what, like a 34-point margin?
We'll take it.
Well, they won by 31. But the fact is you couldn't come away from that not concerned about a lack of a running game.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. My thing isn't the score. I told this to Billy yesterday on the Luchador as we have some slow motion replay here going on. There's the beautiful pass to Yulkeith Brown. If you're watching on the CW or on YouTube, Yulkeith Brown with that first touchdown, which I won't call that the turning point, although we'll get into that here shortly. That was certainly great to see the offense going deep, and they did that many times. But my whole point was it's not the score. It's the things that I didn't see that bugged me about this game. And I didn't see A-Chain break off what I expected. I expected him to have 190 yards in this game, 200 yards. And I've got some numbers to make everybody feel better about the running game here shortly. But that all being said, that bugged me. The offensive line bugged me. And I know there are reasons for it. Different guys, no cohesion. Who you expected to be your starter a month ago at center wasn't out there. And even though Matthew Wyckoff has had a great camp and was been the lead guy for a while because Bryce was out, I think that hurts you. Leighton Robinson out of the lineup as well hurts you. And then trying you guys out. That I don't think there was cohesion there.
That is true. But on top of that, I think you had some guys that were inexperienced, showing their inexperience and didn't play well. And the fact that Devon Achane finished with 42 yards is alarming enough, but when you saw him at halftime, 8 carries for 8 yards, and so many times he couldn't even get the ball and take more than a step or two before somebody was already on top of him. Now, Jimbo Fisher said, well, they were stunning and things like that, and we were confused by it. Well, okay, I'll give you that. When you have you have 2 guys making their first real appearances in college football. I think Wyckoff might have gotten to 3 or 4 games last year, but for the most part, one guy, Zune, is making his college debut. One guy has, made cameo appearances at center. You mentioned Layden in and out. So the question is then, where do they go from here? Because if that's your offensive line, you're going to have issues. You're going to have a really hard time being as successful this season as many projected you to be, including, I'm sure, themselves. That said, I have always maintained never, ever overreact to the first game, whether you're reacting positively or negatively, because things can look amazing in the first game. That's going to be somewhat misleading, and things can look really terrible in the first game. That can be very misleading.
By the way, there were a lot of teams in college football yesterday, or this weekend, I should say, that had similar stories that A&M had. Lots. Mm-hmm. And some of them against such powerful teams as well. You look at some of the quarterbacks out there who had interceptions. Spencer Rattler didn't look great. I didn't watch the University of Texas, but Quinn Ewers apparently in early on in that game struggled a bit. An interception. His stat line wasn't fantastic. I'm going to read this message from on YouTube from Paul Box that says, none of the so-called experts, and I believe we're the so-called experts here, because we're the show you listen to about A&M, none of the so-called experts mentioned the fact that Sam Houston State is defending national champions.
We mentioned that all last week.
Well, first off, they're not defending national champions. That's just to make...
Well, that's true.
They're not. They won the prior season, which was in the spring, but they're not defending national champions.
Well, that's true. Good point.
Okay. And yes, they're in the lower division. The Bearcats are better than many D1 schools. We said that 100 times. We've said that they were a great program. So that is, in fact, Paul, you listened to the wrong show. You're probably listening to that company that's stealing our pictures and posting it. You saw that, right?
Isn't that, how lame is that?
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised because I used to work for the guy that runs that.
Yeah, that bugged me a lot. I won't touch it. If Billy wants to get into it, we can, but that just bugged me. But overall, we always give respect to Sam Houston.
Yeah.
But I am sorry, and somebody got on me about UTSA, like not giving them a chance against Houston. Here's the reality of the situation. I watched a lot of Sam Houston. I was very impressed with Sam Houston. I had to cover them when I was in Houston. But an SEC team versus any conference in the world, just ask Utah, typically is going to be favored to win. I know LSU didn't win yesterday against Florida State. They could have.
They gave it away.
The Florida game, Anthony Richardson, was phenomenal. He was great. And, of course, after I made the pick of Utah winning that game, I thought to myself, it's an SEC team. It changes the dialogue.
Yeah, it's funny because when Hop and I were discussing it, I was like, everything. I'm being coerced almost by the national media hyping up Utah. And I kept saying, I want to take Florida, but maybe I'm missing something here. And so, I said, well, Utah can win by a field goal, right? And of course, maybe they almost did, but
they didn't.
And no one, I thought, or very few believed that Florida would be in the position they were in when they took the lead. But Pac-12 football is not great.
No, it's not great.
It's so overrated.
It is absolutely overrated. Let's continue talking about this game. And to me, Haynes King, although he wasn't great, when you throw for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns, and you have some of the longest offensive plays you've had. In fact, I believe they were the longest offensive plays since Jimbo's been here. You go back to Ryan Tannehill days of some of the offensive output. You've got to say that is a major positive. The one guy that Billy said this yesterday on Luchador. We don't talk about enough is Ainias Smith. Ainias played exactly the kind of football we want and expect, and sometimes we don't mention him. Evan Stewart, I don't want to say better than advertised. He was fantastic. He does not look like a freshman out there. Chris Marshall does not look like a freshman.
Evan Stewart, I thought of the freshman receivers. I thought as good as Evan Stewart was, I was actually more impressed with Chris Marshall because I thought he made the catches that freshmen don't make.
Yeah. He was over the middle quite a bit too.
Leaping, coming back. Now that's not to dismiss what Evan Stewart did. That crossing completion where he caught it like 5 yards downfield and then just ran away from everybody, made it to a 23-yard gain. That was awesome. It shows you what this guy's going to be about. But I was just, that's one where you throw the guy short and he just outruns some guys because he can. But Chris Marshall was doing things that you don't see freshmen all the time do. They weren't as spectacular, but they were more nuts and bolts type of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll also say this. Haynes King has not played real football in 51 weeks, coming back from an injury. I know he practiced in the bowl weeks, and I know that there's a different green light, that when the game goes for real live with grown men trying to break your body and tackle you and trying to look, that Sam Houston team, they may not have the intangibles, the size and the speed as a SEC team. They want to win too. They don't just show up, right? And Haynes has not played in 51 weeks, waiting for that since that second drive of the Colorado game. I think that is part of the conversation too, because you don't just come back to being what you used to be, right? Like it takes time in a game setting to go and by the way, there is no used to be with him. He's 3 starts.
I thought Haynes. It's funny that you could throw for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns, and your fan base is upset with your performance, and I get it. He had 2 interceptions. Easily could have had 4. Right, that's fair, right? And then there's one play just before they missed a 50-yard field goal where I think he threw to the wrong guy, and the pass was like 5 yards short. I thought even on his touchdown, sometimes the passes were a little underthrown. But like you were saying, first game for him, first game this season, right? You expect to go out there and be perfect? No. And then when he hadn't played for a long time. So I would say, give the kid a little bit of a curve, but you can't give him too much. I mean, he's going to have to show some definite improvement.
I didn't like some of the throws. I think in the first half he was playing not to make a mistake with some of his throws. That's why he was underthrowing or kind of lofting it, if you will. But I thought he came out much better in the second half, even though it wasn't that much more scoring. In fact, it was only 14 points in the second half that they scored. I still thought he commanded the offense better and threw the ball better, without a doubt. And also that interception that he threw to Evan Stewart in the end zone. If he just puts a little bit more touch on that, bit more touch, he throws for over 400 yards and another touchdown.
Yeah, a little more air, and that's a touchdown, but he didn't. So that's when you say, well, okay, first game, let's see how he improves. Like I said, don't overreact to anything good or bad. Is that defense going to shut everybody down where the longest run the opponent's going to have is on a fake punt?
Fake punt and also a couple of
scrambles.
Scrambles, right? And that's good to get you ready for LSU if Jaden Daniels is the guy at the end of the season.
By the way, Walter Nolan is everything they said he was. We're watching the replay with my wife. I said, watch this. And he doesn't make a tackle on this particular play.
He just the guy alive?
He takes up 2 guys. He just screws up the whole play.
Yeah.
And then the quarterback, I think it is trying to find some room, and they're running. Maybe it's the running back, but anyway, they're going to the left, and Walter just goes in there and just blows it up. And so now he's like, okay, where do I go? And he turns back, and here comes the pursuit, and somebody else makes the tackle, but Walter made the play.
Shamar Stewart,
Shamar Turner. Shamar.
I mean, the defense was.
I think I might. I think everybody should be called Shamar.
I'm naming my next kid Shamar because I like kids.
Shamar Nuño.
I'm going to have a bunch of them. All right, we're going to come back. When we do come back here on TexAgs Radio, a couple things we want to get into. We're going to go to the News and Social Center and hear from Tomas Romo, But we're also going to do a little bit more than that. I'm looking at the wrong rundown. We are going to do the turning point. What I thought and OB thought was the turning point in that game. We'll get into that. But right now we're talking Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. They've got amazing deals that change on that website every month. We're now in the beginning of September, so go check it out, right? That's what they do. Zach Hester and his crew out there are going to take wonderful care of you. If you got some service needs, call them up, guys. I don't care. Like, OB can attest to this. It doesn't matter if you bought your vehicle from Caldwell, right? Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They'll take care of you, and the customer service, second to none. I want you to experience it, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, you're right, David. Like, it is a different experience. If you're in the area, call them up. If you're not in the area and you're looking for a vehicle, start on the website. If you get a chance to come up for an Aggie game day, maybe on your way in or way out, you stop by and check out what they have there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. It's on Highway 21, about a 15-minute drive by to Caldwell, short conversation away. But you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with Zach and the fellas there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Brazos Valley Veterans Memorial Board invites you to their annual 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony on Sunday, September 11th at 6:30 p.m. at the War on Terror site. There will be remarks by Sheriff Wayne Dickey and placing of the memorial wreath. The ceremony is free and open to the public. BCS Habitat for Humanity invites you to the annual Tees for Keys golf tournament on Monday, September 12th at the Traditions Club. Team registration and whole sponsorship opportunities are available at habitatbcs.org. Trail Life USA Troop 12 is hosting a Join the Trail open house at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, September 15th at the A&M Church of Christ in College Station. Trail Life USA is a Christian outdoor adventure, character, and leadership organization for boys from kindergarten through 12th grade. You can hear the Aggies in Appalachian State this Saturday at 2:30 here on The Zone. Then 30 minutes after the game, dial Louie and Dusty and be part of the Zone call-in show brought to you by TexAgs. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Come experience The Warehouse at CC Creations, the world's greatest Aggie shopping experience. With 28,750 square feet, The Warehouse at CC Creations is the Guinness World Records title holder for the largest collegiate merchandise store in the world. We are your one-stop shop for your entire family to stock up on Aggie apparel and gifts. Shop in-store 7 days a week or online at thewarehouseatcc.com. Keep the tradition. Shop The Warehouse, located at 114 Holloman, just 1 mile south of Kyle Field.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Bryan Broadcasting is your home for high school football. Bryan High, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and College Station High play on the Bryan Broadcasting family of stations. No matter where you are, hear every play, every game, all season long, thanks to
Kelly Burt Dozer, Frost Bank, Ed Phillips Plumbing, and Club Car Wash.
To find out when and where to hear your favorite team, go to brazosfootball.com.
Each week on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by B&B Automotive and Superior Auto Service, two remarkable businesses, one great family, we have you hooked up for all things college football. Monday, Mitch Light of The Athletic. Tuesday, Cedric Golden of the Austin American-Statesman and Olin Buchanan of TexAgs. Thursday, Braden Gall, 440 Sports, ESPN Radio. Every Friday, Bryce Jones. Check in with the Louie Bellina Show weekdays, 11 to 2.
Sister cries out from her baby bed.
I'm going to get OB going here. You know you're in football season when the tweets and the text messages nitpick at the radio host.
Well, they mad at you now.
I'm going to say they're mad at you, too.
Oh, me? Okay.
No, both of us. It's TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here on the Rollo Insurance Studio. And it is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse of CC Creations. Maroon never looked so good with Maroon U. Go check them out. All right, this is a tweet that came in from Godzilla Kyle, who is a loyal listener, very nice guy. But he goes, how about we talk about the positives, or does the radio show just reflect the extremely constant negativity of the message boards. I'm going to answer that real quick, and you can please chime in afterwards. Did I not just give Haynes King props for not playing football in 51 weeks and saying 364 yards and 3 touchdowns is a good day, but I would like to see him not throw any interceptions? Did I not say that we don't give Aniyah Smith enough props for the kind of player that he is for this team and what he did in game 1? Did I not talk about the defense being phenomenal? Maybe I made that up. Maybe I just said it in my head. I thought I said it on radio with the red light on for the last 15 minutes. Maybe I'm wrong. But, OB, was I wrong or right?
Well, you've mentioned all those things.
Okay.
But if you here you go. Who's it? Godzilla Kyle?
Yeah.
All right, here you go, Godzilla Kyle.
Be King Kong.
If you want to field a team this year that's going to beat Sam Houston and you're content with that, then rave about all the positivities from that game. And there were numerous ones that you pointed out. But if you have aspirations to be at least a 10-win team and to be a factor in the SEC West race to win championships, if that's your goal, then you need to be better than you were against Sam Houston, an opponent that's a very respectable opponent, but not of the caliber that you're going to see every week in the SEC West. You're just not going to see it. So if your goals are to beat a great FCS program, then you accomplished them. But if you have higher goals and higher aspirations, then you have to hold that team to higher standards.
I'm sorry, I don't feel like we spent that much time talking about how the running game was not good at all. I feel like we made it a mention. Look, it is what it is. We all want A&M to go 12-0, make it to a national championship game. But I think in the intro segment, we gave you exactly what happened. And if you want, a cheerleading show, I'm sure there's some people you can go listen to. The other thing I think is, it's not uncool. People are going to do what they want to do, but they tag Billy on it, like to get us in trouble, get me in trouble. Like, oh, Billy, is this the kind of show you're going to allow this guy to stop with it, Kyle? Come on, man. Be better than that. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. I see a bunch of text messages. We'll get into those on the A&B text line. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. Let's go to the news and social center. Tomas Romo, we didn't get you in the first segment. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. Monday morning. Yeah, it is Monday. Making sure it's Monday. We got football this past weekend. NFL starting up. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I know you are, man. And it was a great week. Look, the best part of this weekend is we had football that I was interested in all day. Saturday, and then Sunday night we had a game, and we have a game tonight.
I had some Thursday games.
The Thursdays, too, yeah. There were Friday games.
Yeah,
they weren't very good, but there were Friday games.
It was a good weekend of football. Exceptional weekend of football.
Tomas?
Let's get into some of these text messages. PG Aggie in King Oak says, my feeling after the game was that this defense could be top 5 in the country, and that 22 recruiting class is proving their greatest of all time ranking to be accurate.
Those guys were pretty darn good, man.
They were. Never overreact to anything,
game,
good or bad, to the first game.
Yeah. By the way, we're going to get into some numbers on the running game here that I think Kyle might feel better about, and I think everybody else will feel better about. We'll get to those in the next segment. What else do we have, Tomas?
Stephen College Station has a question for you guys. I'm excited about the wide receiver play, but why do you think our tight ends were not part of the offensive game plan?
It's a good question. Maybe because we're extending the field, we're throwing deeper, potentially. Maybe to help the offensive line. That's why you saw Crownover in there quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all those things. Maybe you have better your wideouts are just better than your tight ends at this point.
Again, Billy Liucci, being the source that he is on this show on Friday, made mention that he, could be Donovan Green or Jake Johnson starting. I didn't thinking at tight end or getting a lot of the plays. Crownover obviously started in that situation, but it was Donovan Green, and I wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought Jake would have gotten the go-ahead, and it was Donovan.
Yeah, that position, who knows each week. I thought for sure they would start Max Wright.
He was hurt. So
but of course, we didn't know that. We didn't get that. At least I didn't.
I think we got it Friday afternoon.
Oh, okay.
I think we got that. Let's go back to Tomas for a couple more.
I got a quick note for you about the football game this past weekend.
Yes,
it
sir.
was It was the program's first season opening shutout at Kyle Field since 1993.
The first game I ever covered for the Aggies.
LSU.
And this was the first time since 2012 that an A&M quarterback threw not one, but two 60-plus yard touchdown passes.
I don't have the number in front of me. I'm sure somebody can text the show and tell me. Do you know the last time A&M had a shutout?
Well, last year, wasn't it?
Did they have one last year?
Didn't they?
I think we went through it in the press box.
Was it Prairie View?
I feel like Prairie View got a field goal.
Okay, maybe they did.
I might be wrong.
I
thought we talked about this in the press box and I couldn't get it. So, hey, real quick, before we hit a break, I want to find out from you what the turning point of the game was. I'm going to throw you mine real quick, and you can have the same one since we're doing it at the end of the segment. To me, it was the Aniyah Smith touchdown.
Absolutely.
Because it was 10-0, almost halftime. You're kind of unhappy with the offensive performance, if you will, and that gave you the kind of room that you needed to feel good about your league going into the 3-hour rain delay.
Absolutely. You were very frustrated with the first half. It's 10-0, and then you get that touchdown and say, okay, well, the way the defense playing, maybe Sam Houston would get 10 points. You know, they did get close to scoring a couple times, and the defense produced turnovers to stop that. But so maybe at that point when it's 10-0, Sam's still in it. After they 17-0, they're not coming back from that. The defense was just playing too good.
Too good. Here's Spencer and Denver on the A&B text line. Tomas, I'll let you take this one because he's got all caps to get started, which usually means your buddy Spencer is ready to have dinner again, and he's
yelling.
He's yelling. Tomas?
Spencer and Denver, hold on. The question is not whether or not they scored a touchdown in their opening drive running the football. The question is, what did they come out of the game with?
I don't think we asked
I think he meant this. I don't know, but go on.
They got a win, and they saw how all of those pieces that were on those chalkboards for the last 8 months and how they actually perform. And as the game progressed, if they didn't get better, we're in trouble. But I saw a drive at the second half that we were able to move the ball on the ground. So, yeah, tap the brakes.
Sean, who lives in Bryan. Come on, Nuño, do better. Last year was New Mexico.
Sorry, I don't know. New Mexico. Okay, 37-0.
We talked about it during the game. We were trying to figure out when the last one was. So New Mexico.
Yeah, I thought it was last year. I just couldn't remember the opponent. But yeah, now that you mention it, yeah.
Sean, you forget that I have your phone number. All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break. We'll come back with more. I've got a couple things I want to get into to make you feel a little better because it is that point of the show where we have Overreaction Monday. What are people overreacting to? We'll get into that. But first, it's the Association of Former Students who went out there at Aggie Park. I want to hear from you. How was it? How was that experience? How was the weather? How was the views?
Well, it's beautiful out there.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It is such a beautiful place. Thank you so much to the association. I feel like I'm thanking them for myself, for my kids, for all the students out there. You guys should thank them as well for giving that beautiful gift to just a wonderful university. Thank you so much to what the Association of Former Students does. They are a group that just gives. They've done that for over 140 years. But basically, their giving is your giving, right? Because you are giving to them, and you have empowered them to give to Aggies all around the world. And that's what they do. Their why is you. You are their big why. So it's kind of like a big circle of giving back and forth to everybody. And I love what the association does. And they've created this website to tell the stories of Aggies all around the world. IamTheWhy.com, because you are their why. You exactly listening to this show, you Aggies, former students and current students. The association is here for you. Check out IamTheWhy.com to check out these perspectives, these stories, these unique really life events that happen for all Aggies. It is IamTheWhy.com. Again, IamTheWhy.com.
It's like when they replaced Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince. David Nuño on TexAgs Radio. Weekdays on The Zone.
When your diesel truck or construction equipment needs DEF, WPI has the best price in town. Only $12.99 for 2.5 gallons. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings to teeth, buckets and blades, any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan, Highway 21 east at Marina Road, or click WPI.com.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals. Hi, it's Jenny from your local Big Deal store. If you've never visited our website, you're missing out because we've partnered with some of the best local businesses in town. Dozens of gift certificates, all discounted, ready for you to buy today. Here are just a few of the businesses you'll find.
Paisano's Italian Pizzeria, Carter's Burger, B&B Automotive, You Paint It, and El Mundo del Taco. Shop and save now at AggieLandBigDeals.com.
Count on Lowe's for Labor Day savings. Get a Maytag top-load washer for just $568 and a top-load dryer only $548. That's a savings of $462 for the pair. Plus, get free delivery and special financing. Also, buy one, get one 50% off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Paint and Cabot Exterior Stains via rebate. Shop Labor Day savings now at Lowe's. See store at Lowe's.com for details and restrictions. Gas dryers available at additional cost. Exclusions apply while supplies last. Valid through 9/7.
It's time to get closer and go farther with Optimum Mobile, voted #1 in customer satisfaction. The more lines you add, the more you save. That means you can get unlimited data for $30 a month per line when you get 2 or more lines. Add that line for him or for her and for them, because every line adds up to more savings. And with 5G access included, you'll stay connected on the network that has 4 times more 5G coverage than Verizon. Switch to Optimum Mobile and get unlimited data, talk, and text for $30 a month per line for 2 or more lines. And the savings keep adding up with great deals on the latest 5G phones with the lowest monthly pricing. It's the perfect time to get closer to Optimum Mobile and go farther with more ways to add and save, all at the same time. Visit Optimum.com/mobile or call 800-864-0500. Autopay required. Exclusive pricing for 2+ lines of service with unlimited data option. Offer subject to discontinuance or change at any time. Other terms and conditions apply.
You can listen to Aggie football, basketball, and baseball on your Amazon Dot or Echo. Step 1, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Step 2, anytime you want to hear fighting Texas Aggie football, Texas A&M women's basketball, or Aggie baseball, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. It's that simple to listen to your favorite A&M teams that play on the Zone with your Amazon Dot or Echo. Make sure to say one time, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then say, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
Telephone rang about a quarter. I understand you haven't seen film and everything like that. But why do you suspect was the issue getting the running game going? And
stunts up front. The twist game up front. Multiple twists and stunts and looping. And they do a really nice scheme now. I'm going to tell you, they have a really nice scheme. We knew it going in. And we were over chasing the down guy and not playing on the loop. And it takes timing and got the rhythm the second half and got back into it. But it's all we worked it. We just got to be patient. It's tough. It can be a pain. We got to do a much better job, though. That's my fault. We got to prepare them better.
Are you concerned with what you saw from your offensive line?
Well, yeah. In the first half, we didn't play well at all. Then I thought the second half, I thought we'd come out and did a nice job and established their ground game. We were able to run the football and did a better job. And we got to get better. There's no doubt.
Come on, Jimbo, be more positive. Just kidding. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is a Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Appreciate everybody listening in. We'll get to some of those text messages here in a moment. OB's with us, of course, as he always is. Time to do a little overreaction Monday. So, OB, I'll ask you, what are most people overreacting about?
Probably the main overreaction, I would think, is the offensive line.
In the running game?
Yeah, because it was the most alarming element of the game,
sure,
in my opinion. And so I get it, but I'm always saying, like, one time can be a bad game. You're not ready, whatever, like Jimbo was kind of alluding to, right?
Yep.
If it happens next week and then we got that, then it's a trend. Then you say, okay, this is a problem. I've talked earlier this week about that Texas State game a few years ago. And you're like, okay, this didn't look good, and it turned out to be a problem.
Sure.
But then I'll go back 2020,
Vandy,
when they didn't move the ball against Vandy. It's like, okay, what kind of, is this going to be a problem? And then it wasn't. So never overreact. But I think that's the thing that most people are reacted to, and understandably so, because it was alarming that you couldn't get the fastest running back in college football room to run against Sam Houston.
I'm going to read you these numbers. Tell me what you think about them, okay? 29 rushes for 98 yards, okay?
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Very mediocre.
Very mediocre.
And maybe even whatever.
How about 3.4 yards per carry?
Mediocre.
Okay. How about your best back rushing for 20 yards? Your lead back.
Well,
I'm sorry,
terrible.
I'm setting you up for this.
I know, because you're going to tell me somebody else.
That was against Colorado last year. Those numbers are almost identical. Not identical, but very close to what we had yesterday against Sam Houston. Spiller was the lead back in that game against Colorado, who, by the way, had obviously a huge catch and played an integral role in that win. But he had 8 carries for 20 yards in that game. All right, that just kind of paints a little bit of a picture of how bad the offense was. A-Chain was the one guy who was able to run in that game, 9 carries for 50 yards. As a team, their team average was 3.4 yards per carry. Fast forward to what A&M did just the other day. The numbers are very, very similar. Okay, A-Chain, 18 carries for 42 yards. He had that 112-yarder. But the team as a whole rushed 32 times for 110 yards. Also, a 3.4 yards per carry production. What I'm telling you is, if last year's offensive line figured it out, guess what? This year's offensive line is going to figure it out.
Yeah, probably. The problem is last year's team went 8-4. Now, was that on the offensive line? No, because you had 2 guys that probably one a 1,000-yard rusher and another one that would have been had they played one more game. So,
right.
So you did start running the ball better.
You did run the ball better, and I guess I just use that as when we, want to psychoanalyze the offensive line. There were issues on Saturday. Part of it was different guys in positions, moving in and out. There was no cohesion, but they were able to figure it out. And there was a point in last season, I'm like, man, I don't know if this offensive line is going to be pretty good. And then when we went into this offseason, OB, we were talking about the offensive line being a strength, even with Kenyon Green leaving.
Well, I thought they would be better at 4 of the 5 positions, and I still do. Provided Bryce Foster gets back. I'm sure Matthew Wyckoff has looked really good in the spring and then in August camp, just like Jimbo said. But I saw Bryce Foster be really good and play really well last year against SEC competition. And, hopefully he'll get healed up from whatever his family says he has mono. So hopefully he'll recover from that before too long and be able to get back out there.
Yep. Let's go through your column over the weekend. Learned, love, and loathe. And I can read you to see if you don't have it open here. What did you learn yesterday that Keith Brown? How about what did you learn about him?
Well, I already knew he was fast. But that was confirmed because he just blew by them, and that was pretty impressive. I also learned that he's a physical guy because he made the best block of the game.
Yeah, he did. Holy smokes.
on that turning point play. Maybe they would have scored anyway, but Anias is going to get caught.
Yeah,
and here comes Keith from the right side and just delivers a devastating blow that knocks one guy down and slows up 2 other guys. So really blocked 3 guys and Anias scores. So so much we talk about, and rightly so, Evan Stewart and Anias and even Moose and some other guys, Chase Lane's back and Chris Marshall. And you almost forget that Keith Brown is out there.
That guy's
Keith Brown
he's a player.
Offered a big reminder.
You also learned that the offensive line is a major area of concern, but to not overreact right away.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at it and say, you can be concerned. You can be significantly concerned, but don't crawl out on the ledge yet and say, okay, we're going to be terrible in the offensive line. No, it's a concern. You expect to go out and run the ball better against Sam Houston.
You also learned that this pass rush, pretty darn salty.
Well, they will play stronger offensive lines, but if you are better, then you're supposed to dominate, and that's what they did. And in fact, give Jordan Yates, the Sam Houston quarterback, give him all kinds of props because he's fast and he's mobile, and he needed to be. A normal quarterback, go ahead and give A&M about probably 6 sacks, 5. In fact, A&M should have had 4. They had 3. They should have had 4.
Right.
But they took one away from Shamar Turner. His own coaches did.
That was an issue for you. I remember.
Why would you? Well, maybe we'll get to that. I don't know. But why would you? Your guy got a sack, so it's going to be 2nd and 17 with 20 seconds to go. Not even. In fact, Sam just said, heck with it.
We'll move on.
Or you can take the penalty where you'll have 1st and 20. And still, so the guy's working hard, give him his sack.
Yep. Let's go through some of the.
Don't deny him a sack.
Let's go through some of your other loves. The freshman impact, we've kind of touched on it
all. Those guys, those guys look great, including we talked about Shamar Stewart and Walter Nolan, all those Overton.
Mm-hmm.
He was, that guy should be in high school.
Yeah.
And he's out there making plays. I've talked about the receivers, and I thought Denver Harris looks really good out there in corner. So
I'm ready for another game right now.
Those freshmen, they all looked apart.
How about Andre White?
Andre White played really well. Now, I heard he might have gotten hurt. We'll see. We'll find out today.
Yep.
But he deflected one pass that was intercepted. He caused a fumble that was recovered. He deflected another pass, went out there, made 4 tackles. I mean, he had a really solid game, but he made plays. If he can be productive like that, then that the concern about that linebacker spot opposite Edgerrin Cooper, that won't be a concern anymore.
That won't be a concern either. All right, and then the big plays.
Well, we talked about all off season that A&M is going to be a team with more big play ability, and when you get touchdowns from 67, 63, and 43, I think you're showing your big play ability.
Yep. I want to add that Randy, who's listening, says, I think we shouldn't complain about game 1 for 9 months. We complained about our deep passing game, and that's what we got. Can't have your cake and eat it too. No, but you can't
be both?
You can, because it's America. We're allowed. But I'll say this. While I agree that we got exactly what we wanted, throwing deep, and that was a question, are they really going to be doing that? You can still want to protect the ball and not throw into double coverage or not underthrow guys.
I will, to Randy's point, though, I will say this. Teams that throw the ball deep throw more interceptions.
Yes, they do. Let's finish up with what you loathed, and I think we all loathe the run blocking.
Yeah, and we've talked about it over and over. Anais actually has a nice run in there. But Devon A-Chain, 8 carries, 8 yards in the first half. That's mind-boggling.
I would have thought 8 carries for 80 yards.
Yeah, I would have too. He had 18 carries. If you told me he was going to have 18 carries, I would have thought at least 150 yards.
Yep.
I would have lost a lot of money on that.
And that's
you
why
gotta spring him.
That's why when I talk about what happened against Colorado, where I forget how many yards I told you Spiller had. I think he had 50 yards, whatever it was. It could still turn out, regardless of what you think he should have had against Sam, he could still, Spiller had 8 carries for 20 yards last year against Colorado. So the numbers that A-Chain's going to put up, still way ahead of him.
Yeah, and we'll see how they bounce back this week and then in 2 weeks against Miami.
Quickly through the last 2, King's inconsistency.
The 364 yards is great. The 3 touchdowns is tremendous, but the 2 interceptions and 2 more that could have been intercepted, you don't want. You need. Yeah. We've talked about that A&M first and foremost needs a quarterback that's going to take care of the ball, and have fewer turnovers. That's been a big problem. The one year they didn't have in recent memory that they didn't have a lot of turnovers from the quarterback was that year they went 9-1.
Yep.
So
and then the last one you already touched on, but
give the kid a sack. Plus if it's 1st and 20, then you have 3 plays. You need to average about a little like 6.7 yards. If it's 2nd and 17, you got to average 8.5 yards to get the first down.
Yep.
Mathematically, it would have been wiser to take the play.
All right, let's do this. We'll hit a break. We'll get back to your text messages on the A&B text line. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We call it the Go Hour, one of our favorite hours of the week. It's the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. Shine a light for survivors at the Sexual Assault Resource Center's and Evening Under the Stars event on Friday, September 9th. Sponsorship and ticket opportunities are now available. Visit sarcbv.org for more information. The theater company of Bryan College Station presents Head Over Heels. The musical runs August 26th through September 11th. Purchase tickets at theatercompany.com. You're invited to 9/11 Worship in the Park, a community worship service for all, Sunday, September 11th at 9:30 a.m. at Veterans Park's American Pavilion. Brazos County Master Gardeners invite you to Learning at the Library, Wildlife Photography, Saturday, September 17th at 10 a.m. at the Mounts Library. This free event is open to the public. Appalachian State Saturday starts at 11:30 with the Zone Game Day Show brought to you by TexAgs. Join Olin, Cease, and Louie till 1:30. Then Andrew Monaco brings you all the action with kickoff at 2:30. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Start your sports day with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Weekday mornings from 5 to 8 on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Or just tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150. WC Tractor is your local award-winning Kubota and New Holland dealer. Call them with your questions at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Or check them out online at WCTractor.com. Rise and shine. Weekday mornings from 5 to 8 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max from ESPN Radio. Powered by WC Tractor. Here on The Zone.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
Hi, it's Jenny from your local Big Deal store. If you've never visited our website, you're missing out because we've partnered with some of the best local businesses in town. Dozens of gift certificates, all discounted, ready for you to buy today. Here are just a few of the businesses you'll find.
Daiquiri Barn, Star Cinema Grill, C&J Barbecue, and Texas Burger. Shop and save now at AggielandBigDeals.com.
Every home game Friday, the Louis Bellina Show is live from the T-Mobile on Texas Avenue in Lincoln. You can eat free pizza from Hungry Howie's, win great prizes, just spin the wheel, and register to win Aggie football tickets from T-Mobile. Every home game Friday. You can also register online at zone1150.com from Thursday, 1 o'clock p.m. to Friday, 1 o'clock p.m. It's Lunch with Louie every home game Friday.
Let me run with you tonight.
Thomas Petty III.
Well, let's get right to the point.
Huh?
Let's get right to the point.
Which is the point? I don't know. Tell me.
I don't know. That's the song.
Oh,
Let's
that's
get
the
to
song?
point.
I thought you were being mean. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is a go hour. He's OB. I'm David Nuño. And it is presented to you by Maroon U. Maroon never looks so good with Maroon U. All right, let's finish up with some text messages on the A&B text line. A lot of good ones out there, Tomas. I'm going to let you scroll to the one from Chad to start things off with, and we'll just kind of work our way up.
One from Chad to start things off. We're going to start with Trey and Shiner.
Okay, we won't. Sorry.
Haynes had some good moments, but the 2 picks really scare me. In 9 quarters, he has thrown 5 interceptions. I think the O-line will be better sooner rather than later, and Brian Kelly needs to have a sit-down with his family.
Look, the interception should be a concern. Absolutely should be a concern. But you're going to throw downfield. You're going to make some interceptions. You just got to clean up those throws.
I'm almost more concerned with the interceptions, the potential interceptions that weren't picks.
Sure.
I get one of them he underthrew just a little bit. The second one, I don't even know who he was throwing to on the second one.
Yeah.
Looked like he had a guy short and he had a guy deep and he threw in between. It looked like, he had one where he actually completed to Nias on the sideline.
That one could have been absolutely picked off.
And I'm like, wow, that was a fortunate,
what a play by Nias.
Ill-advised throw. Great play by Nias. We say that a lot, and yet no one really, even in the SEC, they hardly acknowledge how good
I watched
Nias
a lot
is.
of highlights this weekend and a lot of SEC recaps. Nias was barely even mentioned, and he was a huge performer. Like Anthony Richardson deserves a lot of the props that he got. I get it, but to me, Anaya Smith, look at those numbers right there: 6 receptions, 164 yards, He had 11 rushing yards in those 2 touchdowns. He was huge. Huge.
Yeah, great player. So, but that's what I would. He had that play, and then he had one again that was almost intercepted. But yeah, they're going to throw. Interceptions. Got to reduce that total. But if you're going to throw downfield a lot, then don't be surprised if you see more.
All right, let's go back to the News and Social Center. Tomas?
This one from Chad. One thing to consider is that last year the O-line looked bad against New Mexico, but did get better as the season went on. Could Adagio not be as good as advertised?
Okay, no, let's not go there yet. Like this one game, and we're already saying don't overreact for the good and the bad either way. And in that same text, you mentioned the New Mexico game. Well, they got better after the New Mexico game. They're getting better. I fully expect them to get better.
They were the next week. They were terrible against Arkansas.
Took a couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they did get better.
Look, and
this, as we go on, I'm confident that this offensive line is not going to have to deal with, I don't think, every defense just stacking the box.
Correct.
Because of the 3 deep touchdown passes we saw.
You would hope. You would absolutely hope about that. And by the way, I fully expect at some point for Layden Robinson to be out there full-time and Bryce Foster. Of course, you can't expect the offensive line to be what last year's was when Kenyon, Bryce, and Layden are not out there.
That's fair. But of course you knew you weren't going to have Kenyon.
Yeah, and you knew Bryce coming in.
Well, yeah, but we talked all year about why we think that they'll be better, and Bryce was a big part of that.
But 3 of those guys from last year aren't there right now. It's going to take a little, and you're not going to get Kenyon back ever. So let's make this work.
Didn't give up a sack.
No, by the way, pass protection was fine.
There was some pressure here and there, but but okay, they still didn't give up a sack.
Mm-hmm. Try to get one more in, Tomas.
Man, Weatherford, a running game is like dancing. You have to have good timing. Our timing was off, but our pass blocking was good. They will get their timing down, and our run blocking will improve.
Here's the beauty of it, OB. They got this week to clean it up, look at the film, look what you did here, here, and here against a real opponent, not against yourself, right? App State's going to bring it, but you got to get it fixed, and you got time.
You got about 2 weeks. I think that App State's going to challenge you, but I still feel confident. And then you get into Miami, look like they may be I'm still not completely sold, but they're probably going to be a top 15, if not top 10 team by then.
And, yeah, you got plenty of time to fix things, no doubt about that. That game's going to be crazy. And you're not going to give up 40 points in the fourth quarter at App State. That I'm pretty sure of, OB.
I like A&M's defense so far.
Yeah, me too. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. When we come back on TexAgs Radio, we've got Billy Liucci coming in studio at some point during the 9 o'clock hour around Aggie Land. We'll get to your text messages. I got some more takes to get into. That and much, much more. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Start your Aggie football Saturday with the Zone Game Day Show, brought to you by TexAgs. You can join Louie, Olin, Cease, Bryce, and Dusty, some combination of 3 hours before kickoff every Aggie football game. Game Day, all Saturday on the Zone, is brought to you by King Ranch Saddle Shop, Tradition, Mobile One Oil and Lube, and the George Bush Presidential Library and Museum. Your home for Aggie football is the Zone.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
This is Aggie Land's home for Aggie basketball, Aggie baseball, and Aggie football. The Zone. 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Us online at radioaggieland.com. This is KZNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. A Saturday morning crash on OSR east of Bryan killed a Bryan man. DPS reports 52-year-old Dwayne Bridges was driving eastbound in the westbound lane when his SUV struck an oncoming pickup on OSR near FM 46. The driver of the truck sustained non-life-threatening injuries. Bryan police is investigating what their social media describes as the suspicious deaths of two people east of the Rellis campus. The discovery took place last night on Silver Hill Road, which is east of Highway 47 and south of Highway 21. Tomorrow afternoon's Bryan ISD School Board agenda includes meeting behind closed doors to review last Thursday's decision by the Planning and Zoning Commission to consider the district's latest attempt to rezone land to build a new transportation and maintenance complex. During last week's 60-minute public hearing, P&Z members asked why the facility housing buses and maintenance vehicles and those employees could not be built at BISD's Career and Technical Education Center on Mumford Road near Harvey Mitchell Parkway. BISD's construction manager Paul Buckner said the main reason is the condition of Mumford Road.
It is a narrow road already. There is not much room, if any, to widen it. And then you do get to 2818 right there, and it is a flashing yellow light. So it is quite a bit more dangerous for our buses to be making left turns out of that.
Buckner also said adding maintenance and transportation would prevent future expansion of the CTE facility. Higher prices to fuel power plants and at the gas pump means more energy production, which translates into more tax revenue for the state of Texas.
The state comptroller's office has just released figures for the fiscal year that ended August 31st. They show that revenue from oil production taxes went up 84% from 2021, and natural gas production tax revenue was up 185%. Stephen Pickering, TSN News.
For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
You know us through the Aggie Ring and our work helping current and former students. You also know that we work to uphold our traditions and help bring Aggies together around the world. We are the Association of Former Students, and it's our mission to provide resources, support programs, and cultivate the experiences that you know and love. But have you ever stopped and wondered why? Why does the association support Texas A&M and Texas Aggies? Why are we always here, there, and everywhere for the Aggie Network? Why do we tirelessly work to ensure that the Aggie experience is both unforgettable and life-changing? Well, you may be surprised to learn that the answer to why is as unique as your own Aggie story. That's why we created IamTheWhy.com, a place for shared Aggie stories and unique perspectives. It's where you can hear the why, see the why, and discover why Aggies like you are the why. Visit IamTheWhy.com today.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Sixth-ranked Texas A&M football overcame a 3-hour weather delay to dominate Sam Houston State Saturday, 31-0. Coach Jimbo Fisher.
Guys played hard. I thought the defense was outstanding in the game. I think we did a really good job up front, controlling the line of scrimmage, and with the older guys and the young guys getting in and played discipline, which I was very impressed with. Secondary, those young corners and DBs, and plus our older guys, I thought they played well, kept good leverage on the football. We chased the football well.
Now, the Ags didn't give up any big plays, but they made quite a few, with quarterback Haynes King throwing for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Maroon and White are set to hold a press conference today to preview this Saturday's showdown with Appalachian State. Hear from Coach Fisher at 2 o'clock right here on The Zone. Aggie volleyball capped off a perfect weekend in Fort Worth with a 3-1 victory over TCU yesterday. Logan Lednicki had 23 kills for the Ags to improve to 4-2 on the year. Out on the soccer pitch, the A&M women finished off their Big Ten road trip with a scoreless draw against Ohio State. The Maroon and White are still undefeated and have only given up 1 goal in 5 regular season matches. And number 11 women's golf began the season with a runner-up finish at the Carmel Cup at Pebble Beach yesterday. Jenny Park led the way individually, finishing in 3rd place at 7 under. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
30 minutes after every Aggie home football game, let's talk about it. It's the Zone Call-In Show. Dusty and Louie, it's the Zone Call-In Show brought to you by TexAgs, and it's 30 minutes after every Aggie home football game, and it's brought to you by TexAgs. Game Day on the Zone is brought to you by Gage Gandy Bail Bonds, Malik Heating and Air, T-Mobile, and Big Shots Golf Aggieland. Your home for Aggie football is the Zone.
just trying to see what they could do today?
No, we got to play. Freshmen now, they're, the depth and it takes to play in this league and building these guys, get them out there playing. Hopefully they'll keep playing each and every week.
And how beneficial is it to see them in true game action as opposed to practice or scrimmage?
Well, you can simulate game all you want till, like I say, till the lights on the scoreboard matter. That's when you can see what guys do. And some guys, I can say, it may bother, and other guys, it enhances. You know what I mean? But then the thing is, they got to repeat it. Now, that's the big thing. When young players have success in their first game, or if they thought they played well, is, all right, don't get caught while it's automatically going to happen. Remember why it happened, how you prepared that week, what you did, how much film you watched, how much time you put in. And if you had failure, it's not the end of the world. Hey, that's part of growing. Let's look at it, make corrections, and go. And that's what college. We're a 12-game season. We got to get better each and every game, and what we do and grow, and get these guys growing and get them playing, and with the older guys, and hopefully we can develop into a good football team.
Jimbo Fisher talking about those freshmen. How encouraging was that? Welcome into hour number 2 of TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in. Got a lot of text messages to get into here in a moment on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas Banking, the website, ANB.com. So in this hour, we expect to have Billy Liucci at some point. I'll talk to Billy. Also, in the 10 o'clock hour, we'll have Tom Hart joining us. So now Tom Hart is joining us at 10:35. I'm switching up the rundown. Not 9:35, but 10:35. Tom Hart is going to be, I believe, at the Twins-Yankees game that's starting at 12 o'clock Central Time. So we'll talk to him. I think it might be from Yankee Stadium. So we'll be chatting with him as we get ready for the second game of the season. But now it is time for Around Aggieland, which is presented by Normandy State Bank. Normandy State Bank, rock solid banking. The website is normandystatebank.com. Let's go to Tomas Romo as I act like I'm going to
I was wondering where you're going with that, David. I was sitting there, all right, Around Aggie, let's go. And, man, it could have got awkward. Billy's
no, now you've made it more awkward.
I don't think I made it awkward.
Let's play that scene again. It's now time for Around Aggieland. Boom. Well, thank you, David. It is now time to tell you see how quickly, but you weren't listening.
I'm just not a pro like you.
If you consider this a pro, you're in trouble, brother.
Well, let's get to Around Aggieland. First off, Aggie Golf. The number 11 Texas A&M women's golf team began the 2022-2023 season with a runner-up finish at the Carmel Cup on Sunday at the par 72, and they did that at the Pebble Beach Golf Links.
Congratulations. So we had Coach G around and Garrett Chadwell, and they're both Coach G's, but there's soccer Coach G and Coach Garrett, and he was looking forward to this one, but it was a short off season for that team, so props to them for being the runners up. Congratulations to them, and let's hope for another amazing season for the women's golf team.
Aggie soccer. Number 18, Texas A&M and Ohio State Buckeyes played on Sunday in a 0-0 tie. The Aggies are going to open a 4-game homestand starting on Thursday against TCU.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Get them back at home. I remember that game last year against TCU. I forget, it was like late in that game that things went south. I remember that one, though, being a good one. Hopefully we'll take care of business here at Els. Tomas, what else?
Aggie volleyball. Texas A&M volleyball team went undefeated at the Fight in the Fort after besting TCU in 4 sets on Saturday night. The Aggies return to Reed Arena tomorrow and host Sam Houston at 5 p.m.
Now, let's get it done. I think we'll have Coach Bird in studio this week at some point. I believe it's her week to come in studio. Love to chat with her about things. All right, so a couple things before we get to Billy. When you look at Saturday's game, there's a lot of positives to take away, and there's obvious concerns out there. But to me, there are things that we have not discussed that should be discussed. Not enough has been made about Aniyah Smith in my mind. Not enough has been made that he had he's extended his reception streak to 24 games. He had 6 in that game, brings his career total to 118. That ties him with Jalen Wademeyer for number 11 on the all-time Aggie career list. He was huge in this game. He also had the 4th 100-yard receiving game of his career, and that's 168 yards he had in that one. 15th all-time on the A&M all-time career list with 1,485 yards. He's also, check this one out, the first Aggie to haul in 2 40-plus yard receptions since Caleb Chapman did it against Florida in 2020. We know how special of a game that was. Unfortunately, Caleb got hurt in that game, but it's been a while since they went that deep. And also a career-long 63-yard touchdown. That, combined with that 43-yard in the 4th quarter, gives him 6 multi-touchdown games in his 4 multi-receiving TD games. So congratulations to Anaya Smith. Not enough made about his impact going into this game and this season. And I remember when we found out he was coming back for another season, how big that was. In game 1, it paid off huge. Not enough made about that. Also, not enough made about the defense. How many drives does Sam Houston really have in that game? Let's think about it. Like, legit drives, not many. They'd get close, and nada, right? You got the pick, the Andre White tip pick. The only big plays that Sam Houston got was either on the fake punt or quarterback breakdowns, and just has to go and get yardage somehow. So not enough made about how I think dominant that defense was. Yes, it was a shutout. Yes, it was fun to watch. Yes, they need to, they're going to have to be even better when they take on App State this week. And we're working on getting their coach on the show this week as well. So we'll continue doing that. But not enough was made about that. How about the defense? The freshmen. I think we've made a lot about that, but the kind of contributions that you got, the amount of players that got into the game, the amount of action that was seen, and there was no drop-off, especially on the defense. And really, on the offense, too. The tight ends, they were out there. You had the wide receivers that we've made a lot about, but the freshmen having a huge impact in this game. And as Jimbo said in that soundbite that we started the segment with, you have to in today's college football for multiple reasons. A, they're more ready than they've ever been. And B, you better play them because they have options now. So you better find a way to play them if they're ready. Not enough, I think, has been made about Haynes King returning from injury. I talked about it in the opening segment. I'll talk about it again. When you go 51 weeks without playing a real college football game, and let's not forget, your 3rd career start. That's a lot. That's a daunting task, guys. When you come back from the injury that he came back from, you haven't really played. You are protected in practice, right? You are absolutely protected. Now you're taking on a team that has guys that are out there to stop you, to break you, to force you to throw into bad situations, to come after you. Look, when you haven't played football in that long, I don't care if you haven't done any skill in a long time. It is very hard, especially a skill that, you've played your entire life, but at this level, you haven't. It is a different game. I'm telling you, and I know all of you can speak from experience on this. For me, when I hadn't done radio in years, right, hosting a show, you guys know those first few shows for me, it was fun, it was exhilarating, but it took a while for me to get into my groove. And that's the same thing for you at your job or at whatever skill. You haven't mowed the lawn in a year, right? It's easy. You figure it out within a few minutes, but it does take a little while. That's probably the worst example I could have used. By the way, I am so bad at cutting a lawn. I've always, my parents had somebody who did their lawn, and then we had somebody who did ours in Sugar Land. I want us to do our own lawn. I got boys. They got to help. I'm doing it. I'm terrible. I'm especially terrible with edging. I might be the worst edger in the world.
I can give you some tips.
Hey, can you come by and teach me some stuff?
I could.
I am so bad at it.
I really could. I'm not even kidding you.
Are you good at cutting lawns?
Well, that's what I do for my other job.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, bro, I need a tutorial. I've looked on YouTube. Nobody's helped me. I need hands-on, one-on-one experience, Tomas.
We'll make it happen.
All right. Just for that, you're getting another segment.
Yes.
Next week. But again, going back to the Haynes thing, not enough has been made about that. You're protected at practice. It's a different speed, the way people come at you. But a couple of those numbers, just to make sure. Remember, the last time he played 51 weeks ago against Colorado, I think that was September the 10th. I might be wrong on the date, but I think it was because it was my birthday and I was out of town. And I'm not telling you that for you guys to send me a bunch of birthday things, but if you want to, that's fine as well. But he had 364 yards passing, right? That's the most by an Aggie quarterback in a home opener since the previous best, which was 349 yards there by Gerard Johnson against New Mexico back in 2009. That just shows you, that performance that people aren't that happy about, it's been that long since an opener had that many yards passing, all right? 364 yards, 3 touchdowns in that one. He became the first Aggie quarterback to throw for over 300 yards since Kellen Mond, not that long ago, but Kellen last did it against the guy that we talked about earlier, the Florida game, there on October 10th, 2020. That same game where Caleb Chapman had those 2 long touchdowns and Anaya Smith just eclipsed that. That's how long it's been, all right? And I think overall it kind of stays with Haynes, but it goes over the entire picture. Not enough has been made about the offense, right? You had 2 60-plus yard touchdown passes, right? And Haynes was the architect behind that, all right? You sent multiple scores over 60 yards in the end zone for the first time since, I'm going to let you guess, Tomas, when do you think is the last time Texas A&M had 2 touchdowns of over 60 yards in a game?
2012 against Sam Houston.
Really good guess. Still very wrong.
Really?
Really good guess.
When was it then?
Like, did you Google it real quick?
No, I want to know what it is because
you're not that far off. I will tell you. And I got this note from Aggie Athletics, all right, from the SID department. October 15th, 2011, when Ryan Tannehill tossed a pair of 68-yard passes to, I want you to guess who it was. He's a guest on this show, and he's a wide receiver.
Swope?
Yes, with Ryan Swope, and against a team from Baylor.
A team from Baylor?
I mean, team from Waco.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, then I think SportsCenter or ESPN might have got it wrong because I remember seeing them say something about that was the first 2 touchdowns or 60-plus yards since 2012. So.
Well, maybe so. Maybe this is wrong, but according to the email that I got from Aggie Athletics, which I think is spot on, it says the first time since October 15th, 2011, when Ryan Tannehill tossed a pair of 68-yard passes to Ryan Swope against Baylor. Ryan to Ryan. So, again, we focus sometimes on things that are just, because we want perfection. And I think, and I really do think this, I think because of the Georgias of the world and the Alabamas, who are expected to be great, right? They're expected to be here. But because we have expectations for A&M to get into that category, I think that's why we pick on some of the issues that you have. Like, you read some articles out there. Saturday Down South has been a little critical of Haynes' game. You can be critical of it. You throw for 364 and 3 touchdowns. You can be critical of it, sure, and two interceptions. But also, how about the props that you deserve for that, too? An offense that wasn't supposed to open up, like, whatever, they're not going to throw downfield. I don't know. I don't think they're going to do that. Jimbo's against doing that. That was an offense that threw. That was an offense that said they picked their spots. They go, all right, we're going to go deep here. And you got your first score on a deep touchdown pass. You got your second touchdown on a deep touchdown pass. Like, that just tell you. And you should have had 3. I say should have, but the Evan Stewart, the interception in the end zone, just a little more loft, just a little deeper pass, just a little more touch on that pass. That is a touchdown, not an interception, right? So that is absolutely a touchdown and not an interception. So, and then you throw them for over 400 yards. You've got 4 touchdown passes and 1 pick. Yes, there were a few that could have been picked, but they weren't, and we do have to talk about that. All right, so we'll do this. We'll hit a break. We'll get into a lot more of this game. I'd love to hear from you, too, on the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150. Call us up on our hotline, 979-693-1150. What are your thoughts on the game? Billy will be with us here shortly, and we'll get to the A&B text line. But right now we're talking Heritage Films. Love me some Heritage Films. Chance McClain out there who made a joke. So I don't know if you guys saw. There was a report that I think it was a Southwest Airline, maybe it was a United. There was some airline where a passenger, I think accidentally, airdropped some pics that were inappropriate to everybody on the plane that had an iPhone. And Chance tweeted out yesterday, this time it wasn't me. So there you go. Chance McClain is not doing that. Of course, he kids. And I just tell you a little bit about Chance because he's just a good old boy, funny, down to earth, artistic, which I know sometimes you don't think you can be an artistic good old boy, but he is. He's an artistic good old boy, and he's so good about telling your story. And that's what Heritage Films is all about. They're about telling stories, family stories, history, getting your story right on camera and presenting it to all of your family, like a 2-hour documentary about your life, about your family's life, about your dad's life. I mean, it is so high quality entertainment, and it's something that your kids can have and their kids can have so they can know your origin story. Imagine that, the Tomas Romo origin story when he started doing the Social Center and then he grew into this awesome media empire, the Romo channel. Like, imagine that. That's going to be one day when he calls up Chance McClain for his story. That's how cool it is when you go to yourheritagefilm.com. Yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The Brazos Valley Veterans Memorial Board invites you to their annual 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony on Sunday, September 11th at 6:30 p.m. at the War on Terror site. There will be remarks by Sheriff Wayne Dickey and placing of the memorial wreath. The ceremony is free and open to the public. BCS Habitat for Humanity invites you to the annual Tees for Keys golf tournament on Monday, September 12th at the Traditions Club. Team registration and whole sponsorship opportunities are available at habitatbcs.org. Trail Life USA Troop 12 is hosting a Join the Trail open house at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, September 15th at the A&M Church of Christ in College Station. Trail Life USA is a Christian outdoor adventure, character, and leadership organization for boys from kindergarten through 12th grade. You can hear the Aggies in Appalachian State this Saturday at 2:30 here on The Zone. Then 30 minutes after the game, dial Louie and Dusty and be part of the Zone call-in show brought to you by TexAgs. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
At Aggieland Roofing, we are proud to celebrate our freedom. We are proud to be Americans, and we are proud to fly the American flag. Howdy, I'm Roofer Girl with Aggieland Roofing. Flying the American flag is the American way of showing who we are at Aggieland Roofing. We honor all that have fought for our freedom. We pay homage to generations that fought in previous wars. We show support for those currently dedicating their lives to preserve the American way, and we remember those that didn't come home. At Aggieland Roofing, we show our respect to those that are responsible for our freedom by flying the American flag. Not just on holidays, but every day. Not all of us are capable or willing to make that sacrifice, so we ensure that the ones that do know how much they are appreciated. Won't you join us? Look for the big 80-foot flags at the new location of Aggieland Roofing on Highway 6 North, just past OSR. Swing in and pick up your free American flag. Support our men and women in the military. Have a safe Labor Day, and may God bless America.
Do you love Aggie football? The Louie Bellina Show, presented by B&B Automotive and Superior Auto Service, two remarkable businesses, one great family. We love Aggie football, too. Every Monday at 2, it's Aggie Football Media Day. Jimbo Fisher live, thanks to T-Mobile. And every Wednesday, we listen into the players. Also, thank you, T-Mobile, the official 5G provider of the SEC. Check in with the Louie Bellina Show weekdays, 11 to 2.
I tell them, you got to have aggressive intelligence. You got to play aggressively intelligent. And listen, there's going to be, you can sit there and say, don't throw interceptions all day, but we also hit as many big plays as we've hit in a long time, too. There's a lot of balls down the field that were hit. There was a lot of catches down the field and get these young guys. And now we just got to clean up. Like I said, on 1st and 10, when they were in a 2 Tampa look, we got the free pull, but he's high and he spun back. You got to keep that ball really vertical, a little more than you can't pull him as much, or just check it and say, I don't want it. And the other one, same thing. We had a corner fade, and the corner's trying to middle both and did a good job. You got to let it clear just a little bit more by another half second, which is tough sometimes in the pocket, but he's got to do that or dump it down. And that was it. But then both drives afterwards, which I was happy about, was the ability not to let it affect him. And he come right back with touchdown throws, if I'm not mistaken, on both drives, right before the half and right on the other. So, but we don't need to have those 2 picks. We don't need to have that. But he did some nice things with his legs and played a solid football game.
Resilience. There you go. We'll take that. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I'm about to bring Billy into the show, but Ag Engineering 12 says, I'm trying to convince the kiddo that Nuño and Olin are some alternate reality versions of Elmo and Oscar the Grouch because he's shuffling between TexAgs and Sesame Street. Well, I wonder which character Billy Liucci would be as he joins us on the hotline. Billy, good morning, sir.
What's going on, Nuño? I'll be Snuffleupagus. Actually, that would be Bronninger. Without question. Hold on. You've gone to my... Hang on. All right, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Gosh, you'd think Bluetooth would work. I would say Bronny's certainly Snuffleupagus, right?
I could see that, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, what else would he be?
I mean, that's him.
I don't know who I'd be. Grover. I don't mind Grover.
There's Elmo, Cookie
Well,
Monster.
kinda
Big
like-
no,
I was kinda-
Bronny's Cookie
I was
Monster.
kind of like Grover. No, he's Snuffleupagus.
All right,
No doubt.
it is what it is. Who's the count?
Probably Brandon Jones. Here's the thing. Olin is certainly Oscar the Grouch.
Yes, he is.
I mean, that's the layup. So we could just move on and talk about A&M football now because we've got that settled.
Yeah, let's
situated.
Let's do that. So, all right, A&M football this morning, a mix of not criticisms, but concerns / also very optimistic because of the way the offense was able to open up. Here we are a couple nights after the game. Billy, how are you feeling about things?
Well, I listen. I didn't hear y'all this morning. I saw this. Y'all got tattled on or whatever right before I tuned in. But if you went through this game and didn't walk away concerned with the O-line and long term this season, Steve Adazio as the position coach, no, I don't have concerns about either one of those things. That's why I thought this could evolve into a team strength. Well, I don't say the team strength. I think there are positions that are absolutely going to be better, but I thought it could be one of the better units in the conference. First of all, that was with Bryce Foster. Second, that was with Layden Robinson, who you didn't have for about half the game. But look, man, if they don't get better up front, Olin, you guys didn't mention it first, and then Olin mentioned it towards the end. Yeah, they stunk early last year and got to be pretty good up front, but they lost to Arkansas and to a lesser degree. I don't think O-line was the number one problem against Mississippi State. They ran for a ton of yards. People forget that. That was kind of the game the running game got going in. But Calzada was under pretty intense pressure in that one. They certainly lost Arkansas because they couldn't block anyone. And Ole Miss, for a good portion of that game, wasn't any better. For a couple of their losses, the O-line got thoroughly whipped, at least in Ole Miss early. But it's not a long time until Miami. It's not a long time until Arkansas and Mississippi State. And, that's not far off. So, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of concern. If anybody listening doesn't think that they went in there today and yesterday and are sitting there saying, what are we going to do about this O-line? You're crazy because there's no time for it. Look, everybody's talking about App State scored all those points against Carolina. Well, do I think they're going to score like that against the A&M defense? No. Do I think the Aggies are going to pitch a shutout? No. The offense is going to have to come to play. Carolina scored 60-plus on App State without Josh Downs, who is a 1,300-yard receiver. The offense has to come to play because it's there for the taking against that defense. If you come out and attack them, the Aggies should come out and score a lot of points on Saturday. And I'm not saying they're going to need many as Carolina had, but they need to come out with the mindset that they need to move the ball and put up a lot of points and limit turnovers, and that starts with the O-line. We're going to talk about Haynes in a minute, but the offensive line, part of his issues, and there was a mixed bag from Haynes, right? But on the negative side, part of that has to do with pressure. I mean, and if you don't see that, you didn't go rewatch it. So the O-line, I would have graded them out. I don't do grades typically, but that was a failing grade for them. They definitely got a lot better in the second half. There's no doubt. For those that kept watching, they came out with purpose. Maybe they needed that long halftime to really get it drilled into their heads. What you guys are doing is mental. Here's what's happening. Here's what they're doing. Maybe that long halftime helped in that regard. And I thought they did a pretty good job of pass protection. I mean, there were some issues for Haynes where even a couple of completions, he kind of had to throw it off his back foot really quickly. I thought those were some of his really impressive throws, actually. I can think of one. I think it was Evan Stewart cutting across the middle where he's kind of falling backward, threw it off platform a little bit and hit Evan in stride for a nice gain. But I thought they were all right pass pro, but the run game stuff, man, you go watch plays, and you can see guys just in the running game prepared to block somebody, and they don't touch anyone because they don't know who to block. And so, yes, it's fixable, but you better get it fixed ASAP, because this is not a season where, you should ever lose a game because a position group isn't, at its best, and not at its best, but ready to win a big game in week 3 and 4, so they got to get it ready. They got to get it right really quickly. Getting Layden Robinson healthy and back in there would be number 1 on my list. And number 2 would be, for Bryce Foster to be back out there and engaged. He just hasn't practiced much. He's had a rough camp coming out. And so I don't know where to set the expectation level or the hope meter that you'll see Bryce. But here's the other thing I know, David, that I want to mention about the O-line. We don't. I interviewed Trey Zune yesterday, and I interviewed Deuce. And not that he's no lineman, but I interviewed LT Overton. Overton and Zune were both talking about how nervous they were for that game, and the butterflies, and Kyle Field. You're talking about an Aggie for life in Zune, and a young man who was born here and whose dad worked here for a long time in Overton. Overton's very young. You're talking, and Zune mentioned how Wyckoff is his roommate, and he woke up in the middle of the night, and Wyckoff is sitting there, wide awake, laying in the bed with the lights out, just wide awake in the middle of the night with nerves. And I talked to Aggie for a minute yesterday. Some of these guys are seeing everything written about them on TexAgs, and it's rough. They're young, man. And I don't think those guys play. Moko, it was Moko's first game really ever, Zune's first game really ever, and Wyckoff's first game ever. Not a good combination. And it's not that Sam's guys were physically whipping them down to down. It was the mental side of it, and just messing up blocks, not being patient, not letting the rushers come to them. So that part you can go, okay, there's a good chance that they'll improve and improve pretty quickly after they get the first one out of the way. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
That is something that we underestimate of the youth and inexperience, and just how amped up and nervous these guys were. And I know you sit there and go, well, it's college football, they shouldn't be. Again, it's a lot. It was 60% of your O-line in the second half. That was their first game ever, essentially. That's going to factor in. Now, the problem is with what I'm saying is that doesn't. Hang on there.
It is TexAgs.
That part, David doesn't. That part doesn't explain. Sorry, I'm getting dry cleaning over here. Pride cleaning. That part doesn't guarantee that they're going to get better. So until we see them play better, it's got to be a concern, right? And the competition is going to get a lot better. But I'm just saying, it's very understandable and reasonable that Saturday would have been their worst game from a mental standpoint. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it does.
In terms of blown assignments, and you heard Jimbo talking about what Sam was doing, and that's always. But look, you got Olin said it. I wrote it. Texas State a couple of years ago, O-line stunk in that one. They couldn't run the ball. Guess what? O-line wasn't very good all year. That was just kind of a harbinger of doom in that first game that we could ignore or not. But 2 years ago, the O-line stunk against Vanderbilt, and they ended up coming back and being one of the best O-lines in the country that year. I think they were finished second to Bama for the Joe Moore Award. They were one of the 3 finalists. So the difference, though, that concerns me, I'll be honest, that offensive line, for as bad as that game was, that was a very experienced offensive line, one of the most experienced in A&M history. Unless and until you get Bryce Foster back, this is a pretty inexperienced O-line. Now, you don't have any true freshmen on it, but it's pretty inexperienced when Deuce Bothery, comes in. He's one of the elder statesmen of the group. I mean, Layden might have him by a start or two, maybe not even, because Deuce started late, but Layden was hurt, for a couple games there after Colorado. So, I mean, you've basically got 3 guys with 1 season worth of starting under their belt, and now you're down to 2 when Bryce isn't available. So that is a concern, because if there's one position you want experience, it's along the offensive line. I mean, bat and quarterback are the 2 spots where I bet if you went through and looked at championship programs, and that was what I kept saying, I thought A&M maybe was a little too highly ranked at 6, 5, 6, 7, I thought maybe about 5 spots lower, because I believe in the team, I believe in the QB, and I think the O-line's going to be better than people think. But that's a ton of inexperience where you need experience. So I think we saw that on Saturday, and now I think that has to be it has to serve as their bottom kind of starting off point. I know the competition gets better, but these guys should make a massive jump from week 1 to week 2. They should move the ball and run the ball and score against App State Saturday, and then build on that from there.
Bill,
there's really no excuse not to.
Let's hit a break here. We'll come back with a little Haynes talk, because I got some thoughts I want to share with you and get your response to it. We'll do that when we come back here on TexAgs Radio. Right now we're talking Milliken Reserve, a farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got wide open spaces, and their mission is to build a healthy community around nature. Hopefully many of you who were driving in from the Houston area or wherever you're coming from the south, you saw it. You're on 6, you look to your left, boom, there it is. Coming up Welburn, on your right, boom, there it is. And it's just a great community. You can get your veggies there. You don't have to live there. I'd highly recommend it. It's a beautiful area. If you're looking to live in like a nature area, but yet still be close to the city, that's what Milliken Reserve is all about. But if you're into hiking, biking, canoeing, kayaking, equestrian trails, evening yoga, if you're into any of that, that's a great place to go visit. If you're into just seeing nature at its best, you're into seeing white-tailed deer, you're into songbirds, rabbits, and turtles. They got it all out there, and it's a beautiful place to explore and enjoy. It is Milliken Reserve. The website is millikenreserve.com. Again, that website, millikenreserve.com.
Bobby Knight and Bill Belichick have both stared him down.
The party don't stop.
It's David Nuño on TexAgs Radio, weekdays on The Zone.
Count on Lowe's for Labor Day savings. Get a Maytag top-load washer for just $568 and a top-load dryer only $548. That's a savings of $462 for the pair. Plus, get free delivery and special financing. Also, buy one, get one 50% off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Paint and Cabot Exterior Stains via rebate. Shop Labor Day savings now at Lowe's. See store at Lowe's.com for details and restrictions. Gas dryers available at additional cost. Exclusions apply while supplies last. Valid through 9/7.
If you own construction equipment and need replacement rubber tracks, now's the time to get $200 off your next set of rubber tracks at WPI. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings, and depth to teeth, buckets, and blades is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan. Hurry in. $200 off rubber tracks in soon. Highway 21 East at Marino Road, or click WPI.com.
Hey, we're here with Jason Rollo. What makes Rollo Insurance so unique?
Well, we're a business ourselves, and we grew from a notepad. And when you come from the perspective of doing it yourself, I think you understand what business owners face, because we face the same things. Technology needs, dealing with those who are clients, as well as dealing with employees, agents. We understand because we're in the same boat, and that gives us a unique perspective in dealing with people and trying to help them.
Visit them at their headquarters in College Station or online at rolloinsurance.com.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
Bryan Broadcasting is your home for high school football. Bryan High, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and College Station High play on the Bryan Broadcasting family of stations. No matter where you are, hear every play, every game, all season long, thanks to
Prosperity Bank, Zwerneman Flooring, ASAP Equipment, and Amarillo National Bank.
To find out when and where to hear your favorite team, go to brazosfootball.com.
Each week on the Louis Bellina Show, presented by B&B Automotive and Superior Auto Service, two remarkable businesses, one great family, we have you hooked up for all things college football. Monday, Mitch Light of The Athletic. Tuesday, Cedric Golden of the Austin American Statesman and Olin Buchanan of TexAgs. Thursday, Braden Gall, 440 Sports, ESPN Radio. Every Friday, Bryce Jones. Check in with the Louis Bellina Show weekdays, 11 to 2.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We go back to the hotline where Billy Liucci is with us. Oh, he's here. I really wasn't expecting that. You got here pretty fast from Harvey Mitchell. Look at that look. Why are you giving me a dirty look?
I'm not. By the way, Nuño.
Yes, sir.
Explain to me. I got a serious question here.
What did I do wrong now?
Because you're just flapping about as if you know what you're talking about. Tell me what is a songbird? I hear you every day during this commercial for
I'm glad you asked.
Milliken Reserve. Don't look it up.
I'm not looking it up.
I want to know what a songbird is, because I hear birds every day on the walk with Griffin. I go sit in my backyard. I'm almost like, sometimes I'm old manish. I'll go sit on the back. I don't sit in a chair. I sit on the little. Quit looking it up.
I'm just looking at the song. There's a song called Songbird.
What is a songbird?
A 2020
As
American
opposed to
dystopian science fiction thriller based on the COVID-19 pandemic.
That's creepy. What is a songbird as compared to a regular bird that chirps?
It sings. It has songs.
So
it
they
has
have
melody.
those out.
I'm making this up as I go, but yeah.
Say, if Milliken Reserve has birds that sing,
in English and Spanish,
I'll be moving out there ASAP.
Lindo.
It would be a great place.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting until I
like
decide if I want land or I like neighbor. I haven't decided yet.
It's a beautiful community, but I think you're right. I don't know what a songbird is.
Okay,
but
I hear it every day. I'm like,
white-tailed deer.
I know you know what a white-tailed deer is.
Right. In fact, I see deer all the time in College Station. I love it in my area.
Nice.
Yeah,
it is.
It is nice. Hey, so I want to talk to you about Haynes, and I think the line that you used a moment ago about the offensive line, I think, is key here. Okay, you talked about some of the nerves, the anxiety, some of the mentally. How about for Haynes King, who's got 3 career starts, hasn't played in 51 weeks?
Yeah,
it's different to go against your team at practice. The intensity, you're protected a little bit more than making your first start in over a year, where you could have made a difference last year. To me, that has to account for some of the issues that we saw in the game on Saturday.
Yeah, I think he had that as well, and I think it kind of looked like it to me. There are things about that concern me moving forward, just like I was talking about the O-line, and there are things that I think are easily correctable, fixable. So it's like with Haynes, get him a little better protection. It made me a little nervous that he came up a little banged up there. He's tough, so he'll, the broken bone's one thing. He ain't coming back from that, no matter how tough. But he's tough, so he got up, shook it off. But when you're running that read play, and it's a 50-50, if you're the defense, I'm forcing Haynes to keep it.
Yep.
And then you're going to take shots at a still tall and thin quarterback that I don't think the strength of his game is making guys miss. It's when he gets – it's kind of like Tannehill.
Yeah.
When he gets to striding and gets a crease and can hit it, you're going to see that speed really on display. And you saw it on a couple runs there where he quietly got 9-10 yards. And the more comfortable he gets, I think you'll see more of that, where he just says, there it is, I'm going to go take it. I want to see that. That was the thing that would always drive us crazy with Kellen. You'd be like, man, he could just run for that. I do want to see Haynes do that. In the design run game, when it's one or two options, they can decide, if they're well coached and their players execute, don't let them give it to A-Chain. and then Haynes has to keep it. And do you want to run him that many times a game? That's one of my concerns. Another one, like the turnovers. There's 5 picks now in 2 full games against Kent State and Sam Houston, and probably could have been a couple more yesterday, Saturday. But and you know, they definitely like Pat's ball. It's like a long time from when the ball comes out of his hand. So because of that, you know, I think he's got to do a really good job of reading the defenders and stuff. And you know, Gerard Johnson did that and had a really nice career. You're gonna get picked off, but your big plays, you know, there's a cutoff where it's Vince Young threw the ball like that, and I'm not comparing Haynes to VY, but he did that as well. But at the same time, I'm going, man, he threw some beautiful deep balls. He throws a very catchable ball on those crossing routes. He did a good job of leading guys, not throwing it behind them. You didn't see balls flying too high generally. So I like his touch in that phase of the passing game. We haven't seen that in a while. Those deep balls were pretty.
Yeah.
Some of, and you know, I'd see guys come open and be like, man, you know, you're just not used to seeing them. Those 2 to Anias, perfect throws. The one to Yule Keith was probably the pass of the day. And you got receivers in Evan and Anias and Yule Keith and Chris Marshall, and you're going to see Noah Thomas emerge like that too, that can get behind guys. So if he can consistently complete that throw, now he missed a couple of them. So he threw 2 picks, right? And I could say, man, he could have easily thrown 3, if not another one. But I also could say that first interception that B.J. Foster picked, that wasn't because Haynes didn't have the arm strength. It was because Haynes threw it too inside. We talked about it yesterday. If you lead Evan, you know, kind of towards the right of the goalpost there, that's a
BJ can't make that catch.
Yeah, and Evan does, or he doesn't, but it's a perfect spot to throw it.
And
where
if he
only
does that, I'm sorry, if he does that, how different are we talking about the
That's
game?
what I'm saying. So if he does that, and this is what you have to be careful of when in one game where you're going, because over time it'll play itself out, and that's why the 5 interceptions in 2 games, that number does concern me. But on the flip side, I look at how Haynes played, and I say, if he makes that throw 5 feet to the right, and my question would be, is that where he wanted to throw it, or did he not realize that he couldn't put it where he put it? That would be what would make me, you know, either feel better or worse about it. But if he makes that throw, you're talking about a 4 touchdown, 1 interception day where he threw for well over 400 yards. And what are we talking about today? What are we doing? So it's that close.
38-0. It's 400 yards passing. It's 4 touchdowns like that. Then it's that one play that really, and I think the almost interceptions are also what catch
for
your
sure.
attention.
So the question is, which one is it? Which one is it going to be moving forward? You see what I'm saying? So we don't know enough yet. We don't know enough yet because of exactly what you said. This is his 3rd career start. He hasn't played football essentially in a game in a calendar year. So we don't know exactly which one we're going to get. And everybody can have their opinion. You could either be the glass half full positive guy, or you could be the glass half empty. And who knows who will be right now? Because again, just like with the O-line, you don't have enough of a body of work. And that's what my cover story was about today, if anyone's read it already. It's that A&M was in this spotlight, David, all off season. And ironically enough, their season opener, nobody really paid attention or cared.
Yeah.
Had it been 10-0 at halftime, maybe more people start tuning in and going, oh, crap, upset alert, or what's going on in College Station. That last touchdown, like you guys said, to make it 17-0, man, that would have been a stressful 3 hours for not only the fans, but certainly the guys in the locker room to only be up 10 and to have Sam Houston like one fluky play away from getting right back in it. And it would have had to be fluky for as good as the defense was playing. But point being, that last touchdown kind of lets you exhale, and it took the eyes of the nation off of it. Nobody cared after a 3-hour delay. those evening games were starting. So for all the attention in the offseason, nobody really paid attention to what was happening at Kyle Field Saturday. That's the last time it's going to happen for A&M. Now, in a perfect world, you get one more week of that. But everybody's going to be looking at this as an upset alert Saturday with App State. Because of the points they scored. People are going to – that's going to be the trendy upset pick this week. You need to snuff that out early. And have everyone tune out and check, go check around the country at that point, because the spotlight's going to find you quickly enough. And this team is going to have to, get a lot better than we saw Saturday. And guess what? That's what college football teams tend to do. They typically, two things. Good teams get better. And then certain teams that looked really good in week one aren't as good as we think. So you wonder about Florida. You wonder about Florida State.
Georgia.
I don't wonder that much about Georgia.
Yeah, pretty darn good.
But Florida State, Florida, other teams that look, you go, wow, they looked really good. You have to factor in the competition. So, hey, A&M beat UCLA and Josh Rosen. UCLA was 15. Just moved the Aggies way up. They beat South Carolina on the road, killed them, move them into the top 10. They beat Arizona State, who is ranked. Move them up. This is a really good football team. Tap the brakes and let these teams evolve over the first 3-4 weeks of the season.
All right, we'll continue with more here on TexAgs Radio. You can text us on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. Shine a light for survivors at the Sexual Assault Resource Center's and Evening Under the Stars event on Friday, September 9th. Sponsorship and ticket opportunities are now available. Visit sarcbv.org for more information. The theater company of Bryan College Station presents Head Over Heels. The musical runs August 26th through September 11th. Purchase tickets at theatercompany.com. You're invited to 9/11 Worship in the Park, a community worship service for all, Sunday, September 11th at 9:30 a.m. at Veterans Park's American Pavilion. Brazos County Master Gardeners invite you to Learning at the Library, Wildlife Photography, Saturday, September 17th at 10 a.m. at the Mounts Library. This free event is open to the public. Appalachian State Saturday starts at 11:30 with the Zone Game Day Show brought to you by TexAgs. Join Olin, Cease, and Louie till 1:30. Then Andrew Monaco brings you all the action with kickoff at 2:30. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
J. Cody Steaks and Barbecue, Horseshoe Junction Family Fun Park, M&M Apparel, and Premium Rapid Lube. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Vanderwood with Veribank. Veribank is continuing to grow in the Brazos Valley with a brand new full-service banking center on Highway 6 in front of Academy. We have a team of genuine bankers specializing in personal and business banking, wealth management, and investor real estate lending ready to serve you. Veribank is here to help you succeed financially, and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. Verabank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Come experience The Warehouse at CC Creations, the world's greatest Aggie shopping experience. With 28,750 square feet, The Warehouse at CC Creations is the Guinness World Records title holder for the largest collegiate merchandise store in the world. We are your one-stop shop for your entire family to stock up on Aggie apparel and gifts. Shop in-store 7 days a week or online at thewarehouseatcc.com. Keep the tradition. Shop The Warehouse, located at 114 Holloman, just 1 mile south of Kyle Field.
Everything in life has rules, and the Zone has prize rules for all contesting. You can check them out at zone1150.com. You may know you can win once every 30 days. There can only be one winner per household per month. You have 30 days to pick up your prizes. You have to be 18 or older to win. You have to present a legal ID to claim your prize. All prizes are non-transferable and not for resale. To make sure you do know all the rules, or if you have any questions about the prize rules, make sure to visit zone1150.com.
Zone1150.com.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So Tom Hart's going to join us I don't know where the Yankees are playing. I believe he's at the Yankees-Twins game. It might be in Minnesota, but he's going to join us at 10:35 with a view of the stadium, I think. So that'll be kind of cool to chit-chat with Tom, who had a busy week, as he always
in
does.
New York or Minnesota?
Got to double check.
It's on New York. It's in New York.
Yankee Stadium. Yeah, that'd be fun. So we'll catch up with him a little bit later. That LSU game, huh?
That was fun.
Yeah.
What a wild LSU is in so many of those games, man.
They are.
Their fans. I mean, look, they've won 3 national titles. I would trade any number of crap seasons for one.
Mm-hmm.
I say that, but if you gave me the option of winning a national title or Texas A&M being a top 5 program for 15 years and not winning one, I would take 15 years and not winning one. Here's why I say that. Because if you're a top 5 program for 15 years, you're going to get really close. Like, say, take Ohio State's. When's the last time they won it?
2014, right?
They won it in 2014.
Still pretty darn
I'm trying to
good
think
run.
of a program that's like won one. All right, let's say
Notre Dame hasn't won in forever.
No, but let's say like OU. The last 20, let's say they won it in 2000. We're in 2022, right? Would you take, if I said you can have OU's last 20 years or you could have one and never threaten again for the next 19, what would you do? That's what's interesting because OU.
I don't know if I can answer that.
LU, there's been so many years where they've had hope of winning it. There's been so many years where they made the playoffs. There's conference championships. There's deep runs where they think they have a chance into December. It would be, to me, it would be a tough one. Now, with that said, LSU, 3 national titles. But man, since that last one, you almost get the feeling like, when's it coming back? Because they're a couple games below 5. They're 11-13 since. That's 2 seasons. That's starting this year. Look, again, we talk about how it's early, right? But when you're playing in the SEC, I mean, that LSU team, to me, being generous now, I don't know that they go better than 4-4 in the league. They're going to have a rough time getting to 5-3.
So
in the conference. So you're talking about maybe 7-5 against, like, so in 3 years you're playing 500 football. Texas A&M, unfortunately, factually, has no history to even compare with LSU because of those natties. And could you imagine what this would be like? What A&M fans would be like if not just for 1 year of that? We've seen that. We saw it once with Fran. We saw it once with Sherman. But imagine 3 years in a row of just that.
Yeah.
You know, like 1,200 days of 500 football. And it's fascinating to see what's happening on the Bayou.
All right, we got to get into your takeaways overall when we come back here in hour number 3, and we'll take that all in when we come back. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
This is Jerome from Birmingham, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
He said, what's the deal with you and Laura Rutledge?
Oh, was he asking if you were the father?
Yes, he was.
I will say, you are the godfather, but I will explain to everyone that if anyone has any concerns or worries here, Paul is not the father.
I am relieved to hear that.
It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
Learning your child has cancer causes an emotional and financial crisis. Often, the best place for treatment is far from home. But with the help of the National Children's Cancer Society, children battling cancer can get to life-saving treatment, whether it's across town or across the country. To learn how we give families hope and give their children the best shot at survival, visit thenccs.org. That's THENCCS.org. Because